As you know, each year we take great pride in honoring our veterans with a Veterans Day assembly. Since we are unable to be at school in person this year, I wanted to share with you our commitment to honor those men and women who have sacrificed their time, energy, and in many cases their lives for our freedom and the freedom of those around the world. We remember the sacrifices made by our military so that we could live in a world free from those who would do us harm. No amount of appreciation will be sufficient enough to honor our men and women of the military. No amount of thanks will be sufficient to show our gratitude for the effort and innumerable sacrifices made by millions of our brave soldiers. However, today we take time to understand the greatest gift we as Americans can receive, the freedom given to us by the men and women of the United States military. I have chosen two books to read to you today. The first is a non-fiction selection that talks about Veterans Day, what it is, how it became a holiday, and how you can celebrate veterans. The second is a fiction story that reminds us a hero isn't necessarily a stranger who lives far away. Many of us have neighbors who are heroes, veterans who don't wear badges or medals on their regular clothes and might not stand out in a crowd. Please enjoy. What is Veterans Day? On November 11th, Americans celebrate the men and women who serve in the U.S. military. This national holiday is called Veterans Day. A veteran is someone who has been in the military. Many of them have served in wars. They fought to protect the country's freedoms. Veterans are often away from their homes and families. They face dangers in war. People who serve sometimes get hurt. When they come home, they may struggle with difficult thoughts and feelings. How Veterans Day became a holiday. Veterans Day started after World War I, which was from 1914 to 1918. World War I was called the Great War. It was one of the biggest wars in history. During World War I, about 8.5 million soldiers from around the world died. People hoped this would be the last war. World War I officially ended on June 28, 1919, but fighting stopped on November 11, 1918. The day became known as Armistice Day. Americans celebrated with songs and parties. They were happy the fighting had stopped. Armistice Day honored World War I veterans, but World War I was not the last war. Millions of men and women served in World War II from 1939 to 1945, and the Korean War from 1950 to 1953. Americans wanted to honor U.S. veterans from all wars. In 1954, Armistice Day became Veterans Day. Sites and symbols of Veterans Day. Many Americans go to Arlington National Cemetery on Veterans Day. It is near Washington, D.C. More than 400,000 veterans are buried there. On Veterans Day, there is a wreath-laying ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery. One important symbol of Veterans Day is the red poppy flower. During World War I, many soldiers died on Flanders Field in Europe. Months later, poppies began to grow there. The red poppy became a symbol honoring those who died. How you can celebrate Veterans Day. Many schools and offices close for Veterans Day. Some towns and cities hold parades. Many businesses offer free services to veterans and members of the military on that day. Americans proudly fly their flag. You can honor veterans in many ways. Go to a Veterans Day parade. Send a letter to a veteran. If you see a military person, thank him or her. On Veterans Day, we remember those who have served the country. I hope that you enjoyed that nonfiction story. This is the second story called Veterans, Heroes in Our Neighborhood. Today we learned about our heroes, a really special kind, the ones who serve America and leave their homes behind. We read about the veterans who give all they can give to keep our country safe and free so that we can love and live. Our teacher asked us each to name a veteran we knew. She said, "Now you may be surprised, it won't be hard to do." So after school, I asked my dad. He had amazing news. These heroes live right in our town, so many who can choose. There are family, neighbors, friends who never boast or brag. We all should be reminded of their love for home and flag. The man in town who cuts our hair is known as Frank the barber. But not too many know he was a sailor at Pearl Harbor. The butcher at the grocery store who cuts the meat for stew was once a paratrooper. Wow. Matt served in World War II, and Walter is a Navy man who came to fix our heat. He once fixed boilers on the ships that sailed with the U.S. fleet. Our neighbor Jacqueline is a nurse who wears a uniform. She cared for wounded soldiers when she served in Desert Storm. Ernie is a firefighter. We knew that he was brave, and yet we never knew about the Air Force time he gave. And Edna, our librarian, had a son named John. He died while training for Iraq. Now she's a Gold Star mom. Our mailman is a volunteer who trains each year to serve. When duty calls, Bob goes abroad. He's in the Army Reserve. And Manny is a proud Marine who did a corporal's part. He was wounded overseas and wears a Purple Heart. We celebrate our Veterans Day on the 11th of November. We show our patriotic pride and promise to remember. Our heroes' headstones wear the flag from coast to coast in May. It's how we honor those we've lost and mark Memorial Day. We painted posters of our heroes and marched in a parade to thank these men and women for their sacrifices made. But we don't need a calendar to celebrate the brave. We pledge allegiance to the flag and let those colors wave. It doesn't matter where they served, what service branch or rank. What matters is remembering them and offering our thanks. Thank you for taking the time to learn a bit more about Veterans Day and why it is such an important holiday to honor and remember our veterans. We cannot express our gratitude and thanks for all that has been given to us as Americans by our veterans and active military. With our hearts filled with gratitude, we thank all of you brave men and women who sacrificed so much so that we could have a better life and a better country to call home. The entire country salutes you, veterans. Thank you is not enough. We invite all of our Wildcat families to visit our school Facebook page to share a picture and information about a veteran they honor this year.